Hello, and welcome to True Mystery. Today, we are diving into one of the most enduring and captivating enigmas of the 20th century, the disappearance of Amelia Earhart. In 1937, this pioneering aviator, a global icon of courage and adventure, embarked on a daring quest to circumnavigate the globe. But on the final, most challenging leg of her journey, somewhere over the vast, unforgiving expanse of the Pacific Ocean, she and her navigator, Fred Noonan, vanished. Their plane, the Flying Laboratory, disappeared from the airwaves, leaving behind only static, silence, and a question that has haunted us for nearly a century: what truly happened to Amelia Earhart? The official story, the one widely accepted, is that Earhart's Lockheed Electra ran out of fuel and crashed into the ocean. It's a tragic, yet simple explanation for a journey fraught with peril. The search was one of the largest in naval history, but no definitive wreckage of the plane was ever found. This lack of physical evidence created a vacuum, and into that void rushed a whirlwind of speculation, alternative theories, and tantalizing clues. For decades, the narrative was frozen in time, a heroic pilot lost to the cruel indifference of the sea. But is that where the story truly ends? Or is it just the beginning of a much deeper, more complex mystery? Stay with us as we peel back the layers of this fascinating puzzle. One of the most prominent alternative theories is the Gardner Island hypothesis, now known as Nikumaroro. This uninhabited atoll, a tiny speck in the Kiribati Island chain, lies roughly on Earhart's intended flight path. Proponents of this theory, led by the International Group for Historic Aircraft Recovery, or TIGHAR, suggest that Earhart and Noonan didn't crash into the deep ocean, but instead made a forced landing on the island's flat coral reef. The idea is that they became castaways, surviving for a short time, sending out desperate radio calls for help. This isn't just wild speculation. Over the years, expeditions to Nikumaroro have unearthed some truly intriguing artifacts. Imagine this: a remote, deserted island. In the 1940s, a British colonial officer discovered a partial human skeleton here, along with a woman's shoe, a sextant box similar to the one Noonan used, and other personal items. Tragically, the skeleton was later lost, but modern analysis of the original measurements suggests it could have belonged to a woman of European ancestry, matching Earhart's height and build. More recently, TIGHAR researchers have found fragments of what they believe could be aircraft aluminum, remnants of makeshift tools, and even a jar of what appears to be a 1930 anti-freckle cream, a product Amelia was known to use. Are these just coincidences, the scattered debris of other unlucky travelers? Or are they the faint, heartbreaking echoes of Amelia Earhart's final days? A silent testament to a desperate struggle for survival on a lonely shore. But the story doesn't stop there. Liddy's travel from a deserted island to the heavily guarded territories of the Japanese Empire in the 1930s. Another compelling theory proposes that Earhart and Noonan were not simply lost, but were captured. According to this line of thought, they may have strayed off course into the Marshall Islands, which were then under Japanese control and heavily fortified in secret. The theory suggests their plane was forced down or crashed, and they were taken as prisoners, suspected of being American spies. Why would they be considered spies? Well, their flight path did take them near sensitive Japanese military installations, and some believe their mission may have had a secret reconnaissance component, sanctioned by the U.S. government. This theory gained significant traction from eyewitness accounts. For years, natives of the Marshall Islands have passed down stories of seeing a plane crash and a white woman and man being taken into custody by Japanese soldiers. Some accounts even claim to have seen Earhart and Noonan in captivity on the island of Saipan. In 2017, a photograph emerged, supposedly showing two Caucasians on a dock in the Marshall Islands, surrounded by what appear to be Japanese officials. For a moment, the world thought it was the smoking gun, while the photo was later debunked, with researchers identifying it as being from a Japanese travelogue published before Earhart's disappearance. The persistent stories from local islanders keep this theory alive. Could the U.S. government have known about their capture and engaged in a cover-up to avoid a diplomatic crisis with Japan on the brink of war? It's a chilling possibility. Now, let's explore the most outlandish, yet undeniably romantic, theory of them all, that Amelia Earhart didn't crash or get captured, but instead, she successfully staged her own disappearance. This is the Irene Bolam theory. It posits that Amelia, perhaps weary of the crushing weight of fame, orchestrated a plan to vanish and start a new life in anonymity. The theory centers on a woman named Irene Bolam, a New Jersey banker and amateur pilot who bore a striking resemblance to Amelia. Proponents argued that Bolam was, in fact, Earhart, living under an assumed identity. They pointed to similarities in facial features, height, and even handwriting. This idea captured the public imagination. Could this celebrated hero have simply walked away from it all? The woman at the center of it, Irene Bolam, vehemently denied these claims. She was a real person with a documented life and history entirely separate from Earhart's. She was so harassed by the proponents of this theory that she successfully sued the publisher of the book that popularized the claim, winning a settlement and a public retraction. Forensic analysis and photographic comparisons have also thoroughly disproven the connection. While it makes for a great story, the Irene Bolam theory serves as a powerful reminder of how much we wanted Amelia to have survived, to have found peace, even if it meant rewriting her entire legacy. It shows how mysteries can become a canvas for our own hopes and desires. So, where does this leave us? We have a tragic crash at sea, a desperate castaway survival story, a wartime espionage plot, and a secret new life. Each theory is a thread in a complex tapestry, woven from sparse evidence, historical context, and a great deal of speculation. The crash and sink theory remains the most likely. Supported by Occam's razor, the simplest explanation is often the correct one. Flying across the Pacific in 1937 was incredibly dangerous, and a simple navigational error or equipment failure could easily have led to disaster. There was no GPS, no satellite phones, just skill, courage, and a reliance on celestial navigation and unreliable radio signals. However, the artifacts from Nikumaroro cannot be easily dismissed. The fragments of aluminum, the cosmetic jar, the skeletal measurements, they present a compelling, if circumstantial, case that Earhart and Noonan's journey didn't end with a splash, but with a hard landing on a coral reef. This scenario is perhaps even more tragic, imagining their hopes slowly fading as days turned into weeks on a deserted island. The capture theory, while more sensational, reflects the geopolitical tensions of the era and the very real possibility of stumbling into a conflict zone. It speaks to a world on the edge of war, where an American icon could become an unfortunate pawn in a much larger game. What's fascinating is how this mystery has evolved. For decades, it was a maritime puzzle. Now, with modern technology, it's a forensic investigation. Scientists are attempting to extract DNA from the soil where the skeleton on Nikumaroro was found. Deep-sea exploration vehicles, like the one operated by Dr. Robert Ballard, who found the Titanic, have searched the ocean floor near the island, hoping to find the final resting place of the Electra. Each new piece of technology offers a glimmer of hope that a definitive answer is within reach. The search for Amelia Earhart is no longer just about looking at old maps. It's about using cutting-edge science to listen for whispers from the past. Ultimately, the enduring power of Amelia Earhart's story lies not just in the mystery of her disappearance, but in the legacy of her life. She was a trailblazer who shattered glass ceilings in the sky. She represented freedom, independence, and the boundless potential of the human spirit. Her final flight, an ambitious quest to conquer the world, became a symbol of that spirit. Perhaps the reason we are so reluctant to let her go is because her story remains unfinished. We crave a final chapter, resolution to her incredible journey. Whether she was lost to the waves, stranded on an island, or caught in the gears of war, her legacy is one of courage that continues to inspire us to push our own boundaries, and to keep searching for answers not just in the vast Pacific, but in the unsolved mysteries of our own world. The question, what happened to Amelia Earhart, is more than just a historical query. It is a testament to our fascination with the unknown and our admiration for those who dare to explore it. As long as there are dreamers, adventurers, and historians, the search for Amelia Earhart will continue. Thank you for joining us on this journey into one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. If you found the story as fascinating as we do, please hit that like button, subscribe to TrueMystery, and ring the bell so you won't miss our next deep dive into the unexplained. Until next time, keep questioning.